Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Coffee at Rosevine Cottage. Take a moment, like the video, share it with your friends, grab a cup of coffee, and then we're going to dive right in. Often we're walking wounded. We've been through battle after battle, and we've faced so many storms. Everyone said we'd fail, that we'd fall, but here we are, walking wounded, carrying the words that cut us deep, the actions of others that pierced our hearts, but we're still walking. We tell ourselves that day after day, we're still walking, pushing away the pain because we don't have time to deal with that. Words aren't supposed to injure. We aren't responsible for the actions of others, so we refuse to acknowledge the wounds they leave us. But if we aren't careful, we can start walking in the wounds. We can start lashing out at our friends, at our families, at the woman behind the cash register, at the guy in the car in front of you. We can let the wound drive a wedge between us and God. And before we know it, everything we touch becomes infected because we're living and reacting from the wounds. Like an injured animal, we're taking the pain and the anguish out on those around us. We're taking the wounds that we won't deal with and we're attacking those around us because in some small way, tearing them down keeps us from having to look at our own gaping wounds. We hurt, and so we hurt others. The infection rages on, infecting others, spreading from one wound to the next, to the next, to the next. We find ourselves saying things, thinking things that we never should have. We attack others instead of seeing the heart of the one we're attacking. We lash out and wound with heartless abandon instead of encouraging. Instead of building others up, we tear down. Instead of seeing the accomplishment, we see everything they didn't do. Everything they could have done better. Those wounds we've been carrying around become hard places. Maybe it doesn't hurt quite so much now, and so we get comfortable ignoring the wounds. We get satisfied walking in this wounded place. Maybe those wounds haven't come that far. Or some other walking wounded has just wounded you with exquisite accuracy. They hit you just right. Like hungry sharks, others have smelled the blood from your wounds, and they're circling, each leaving their own set of wounds. Hurting people will leave others hurt. It's a vicious cycle that goes on and on. Our words, our actions have power. They are the epicenter, ground zero. They can unleash a chain of hurt and destruction, or they can build up. We can choose to live out of these wounds that others have given us or we've given ourselves. We can react out of them and let them affect everything that we do. Like soldiers entrenched in deep crevices, we lob our words like bombs at what we perceive as the enemy, but we never see their faces. We never see the wounds our words leave. If we react out of the pain and the anger and the bitterness, we will always leave wounds in our wake. Or we can peel back those hard places. We can whittle away at that place that's become hardened in our heart and expose those wounds again and expose them to the light. We can acknowledge the pain and bring it to the cross so that He can deal with the root. The price of healing is pain. Becoming whole is going to hurt. But that pain is a promise that today may be bad, but tomorrow's coming. And with each day, that pain is knitting us back together. That pain means that healing is happening. It means that your healer's at work. Your feelings will always lie to you because we're in a healing process, in desperate need of the master healer himself. We're all walking wounded, but in different stages of healing. Some of us are still really raw. Some of us are a little closer to whole. But all of us bear the scars of where we've been. We all need Him to heal what's broken in us, but it requires pain. It means that we have to stop running. We have to stop just surviving and come face to face with the root of the infection and then let God at it. Let him heal it. It's not a one-time deal. It's a lifetime of letting him mend, of letting him knit things back together and learning to lean on him instead of reacting through the wounds. Your words, your actions, they do have an impact. They can wound or they can pick up other wounded and draw them towards wholeness with you. Pain is a sign of a wound, but it's also the sign of healing. A sign that skin and bone are knitting back together. You can never be whole without him. You can look whole. You can throw a little makeup over it, put a mask over it to hide it, but it's always there beneath the surface. I don't know what you've seen. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what you've experienced, but I know someone who does. I know someone who can heal every wound. You've gathered, who can wash away every name you've been called, who will never, ever abandon you, who will never love you any more or any less than he does right now. And he's waiting for you to let him heal those wounds you've been carrying. Sometimes what God is doing in our lives hurts. Sometimes it feels like he's doing a whole lot of tearing open, but it's the first step towards becoming whole. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you were here. Would you take a moment again, comment on the video, tell us what you thought. We love hearing from you. Tell us if you liked it, you didn't like it. Give us a like, and we'll see you again next week.